the president accountable. Joining me now, recently re-elected Illinois Democratic Congresswoman Sherry Bustos. Congresswoman, congratulations.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Let's start with Mitch McConnell because he talked about the relationship between the president and congressional Democrats yesterday. Take a listen.
Well, you know, the whole issue of presidential harassment is interesting. I remember when we tried it in the late 90s. We impeached President Clinton. His numbers went up, and we underperformed in the next election. So the Democrats in the House will have to decide just how much presidential harassment they think is good strategy. I'm not so sure it'll work for them.
Well, you could look at it that way, or Mitch McConnell blocked President Obama in a legislative agenda in every way that he possibly could over the course of 8 years, and that seemed to work out for Mitch McConnell. But to that point, what do you do? How do you straddle holding the president accountable and getting to the legislative agenda that I know the people who voted for you care about?
Well, I find it interesting that Mitch McConnell used the word presidential harassment. The desire of Democrats is to get to the truth, period. And that takes a look at what's going on. It takes a Mueller investigation that can move forward unimpeded. And but Stephanie, there are such things as parallel tracks, and we will be able to do that. It's chewing gum and walking at the same time. We've got very able gentlemen who will be the leaders, the new chairman of the House Oversight, of the Judiciary, of the Intelligence Committee. They are capable, they are smart, they are reasonable, they are fair individuals. So I have my complete faith that they will do a good job and won't engage in any overreach. At the same time, we need to make sure that we are focused relentlessly on bringing down the cost of health care and prescription drug prices, that we pass a bill where we can rebuild America again. And that means roads and bridges and locks and dams and getting rural broadband to 23 million Americans. And then lastly, while I am standing in this beautiful Capitol right now, it's beautiful here, but when you get outside and on the ground, we've got some self-dealing that is going on. We have this money in politics that has just corrupted the system, and we need to address that as well.
Walk us through, can you work with Republicans to get to these things, to help the people in your district? Because President Trump likes to say, well, if I move forward with a middle-class tax cut, the Democrats could block it. But what he hasn't done is explain to anyone how he would pay for said tax cut and what he would cut in order to do so.
Absolutely, we can work with Republicans, and that is the shout-out in the center part of this nation that people in my district sent me back out here, even though Donald Trump won my congressional district. I ended up winning by 24 points in a Trump district. So that's people, in my opinion, telling me, go out to Washington, work with your colleagues across the river, and get the nation's work done. We can do that. There are many decent Republicans, just as there are many, many decent Democrats. We can work together, get the job done, and then we've got to count on Mitch McConnell behaving a little bit better than to make the kind of statements that he just did about Democrats.
You have run a very, very local race. You spend an awful lot of time speaking in grocery stores to every person in your district to try to help them live a better life and stay in touch. Right now, Nancy Pelosi, we heard her speak yesterday. She would like to be the leader of your party. Will you support her?
Well, right now, Nancy Pelosi is the only person running for Speaker. Nobody else has announced. We've just there was a new announcement that came out. They could, and I'll keep an open mind. But, you know, I think in fairness to Nancy Pelosi, she will go down in history as a remarkable Speaker of the House. She has treated me very well, first of all, and I'm a person in the middle of the district or the middle of the country that doesn't always support all of the legislation that she supports. But she has accomplished the Affordable Care Act, Stephanie, never would have happened without her help. And while the rollout of that was widely maligned, it didn't go very well. The end result before the Republicans have tried to do this is that we had 22 million additionally insured Americans. She's smart. She is good to people. She keeps her composure no matter what is coming her way. So I guess that's a long way of saying I like Nancy Pelosi. I think she's been a remarkable Speaker of the House. And these election votes are on November 28th, and we'll see what happens.
How about you? You're pretty remarkable. Do you want a leadership position?
Well, thanks for saying that. I am going to be running for a leadership position. And again, I think there's so much that's shaking out right now. But Hakeem Jeffries just announced literally within the last hour that he's going to run for caucus chair. We have 2 other people who have already announced for that. There may be other people who are getting in these various races, but I hope in the end that I can be part of a very, very good and strong leadership team. I think we have remarkable people who are running for these leadership positions. When I was out and about, we heard from a lot of people saying, we need a new generation of leader. Well, I think what we can see now is there is a new generation of leader candidate running in these various roles. And on November 28th, we'll see what our caucus decides, who's going to be our speaker, our leader, our whip, our caucus chair, our assistant Democratic leader, all of those positions. But I'm confident that we'll have a very good leadership team that can usher in legislation and policy that matters to people all over this country.
All right, Congresswoman, congrats again. Thanks for